Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar. I'm very, very excited and very happy to have the very lovely Carola Beresford-Cooke live with us this evening. Hello Carola.
Hi there.
Fantastic.
From sunny Wales. In
sunny Wales, brilliant. So please say hi on the chat and we'll go straight into the material that we've prepared for you today. And here we have it. It's our latest crazy idea. I think, Carol, I was thinking about it today. It's amazing when you get shortening attention spans. Everything's so fast these days. Everything's got to be done in minutes, or everything's got we just thought, let's just spread things out and let's relax and spend a whole year together. How about that? That's a different kind of rhythm altogether, isn't it? And I think it's resonated with a lot of people because we've had well over 500 people sign up for the webinar. So let's see what we've got in store for you. We've got some polls to find out about you and your background and how well you know Carola. And then Carola's going to lead us through some slides about the importance of the meridians, about shiatsu techniques and the classical meridians and Masanaga extensions, basically giving us a background on why she did an epic 5-year project, which is absolutely incredible. A 5-year project to basically document all the techniques in the Masanaga system. And then we're going to be talking about some of the plans we've got for the year with Carola. We're still working on it, so we welcome any of your ideas as well. And then there'll be a time for question and answer. Dinah is on the chat monitoring, so if you've got any questions, she will find them and flag them up so that we can answer them. So let's find out whether you have studied with Carola before, and it's either in person and online, just in person, just online, or no, this is the first time you've met her on anything. So I'm going to run that now. And if you'd like to just vote on the poll so we can get an idea. And we'll see, Carola, whether how well they know you already. Okay, now look at this. We've got over half, Carola, who've never met you in line or on person before, so they're new.
Well, hello. Hello. Very nice to meet you here.
Yeah, there we go.
And hello to all the people I have met as well.
Let's look at those. We've got 20, about a quarter have met you in person. Look at that, which is, amazing. Okay, so we also thought we'd like to find out whether you're a shiatsu student, practitioner, teacher, head of school or other, because we're just interested to know what your background is. So if you'd like to vote on that, and we'll find out who you are and what you're up to. So what have we got? As we probably would have expected, we've got vast majority are shiatsu practitioners, but we've got quite a few teachers and we've got quite a few heads of schools. So welcome. We'll be mentioning some ideas we've got for students and for...
Very curious to know what other is.
Yeah, other, probably because some people aren't shiatsu practitioners. That's the other thing that can happen. So how about this? Look, I've got my copy right here. This is a slightly older edition, Shiatsu Theory and Practice. Do you actually own Carola's book? Let's see if you already own it. It's a very, very popular book, so I imagine we're going to get quite a few yeses, but let's just see. Do you have this book? And if not, why not, Carola, right? Look at that. What a massive hit rate we've got there. Look, we've got like somewhere between 80 and 90% of people have got your book. You see, so they may not have met you online or in person, but they know you through this book. So that's really, really interesting. Thank you so much for taking part in that poll. And finally, just to find out, because obviously one of the main exciting things about this project is we're hoping to get Carola's 5-year video project and put it so that it's available online. So we'd like to find out whether you've already bought the videos, or so whether you've bought the DVDs, whether you've seen them on Vimeo, which is a live streaming, which is a streaming platform, but you may, or whether you know about them, but also if you didn't even know about them until this webinar, I'd be very interested to know about that. So could you please just stick with us for one more poll and let us know whether you didn't even know about them, or you knew about them but you didn't buy them, or whether you bought them on DVD or Vimeo. And that's really important to us because if you've already got the video content, we want to be able to look after you when we launch the project and stuff like that. So look at that, Carola. 60% of people didn't
Wow.
even know, even though they've read most of them read your book, they didn't even know that you'd spent 5 years of your life videoing all of those videos. So look.
No, but I'm really thrilled, because this means that, you know, a lot of people, you know, will be seeing what we're going to show them for the first time, which is great.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. It really makes it. I already know this is a good idea. So we're going to go off the stage now. I'm going to show you an introduction from one of the actual videos that Carola actually made in her 5-year project.
Well, actually, I think this is a bit from the trailer.
Oh, this is an intro one.
This is the trailer we put out when we'd just done the first 4,
right, okay.
And we had to present the videos and all their marvelous features. I think it is
that. It's the intro, yeah.
Anyway,
so we're just going to get off the stage so we don't get any echoes, and we're going to play this video. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to pop off the stage.
In these videos, we show each meridian in all of the 4 shiatsu positions: supine, prone, side-lying, and sitting. Here's supine, prone, side, sitting. And we also show you how to do the sitting position on a stool or sitting at a table. We show you the traditional meridians of acupuncture, and we also show you the so-called Zen Shiatsu extensions of Masunaga. The meridians are either taped directly on the model, or we show you them as photo inserts in the video. Sometimes we show them to you both ways at the same time.
So there we go. That was the first introduction there, which, as Carola said, was part of their introductory thing. So we'll just get Carola back on the stage here, and she'll start talking about the motivation behind it. And that's one of the big questions I've got, Carol, is why? Why would you even think about taking on such an unbelievable task, really?
Well, we'd cut our teeth, my techie and I. It was just me and the guy I call my techie. We'd cut our teeth on the Qigong DVD that we did with Nicola and Elise, showing all, you know, different forms of Qigong that we practiced. And we thought, actually, maybe we can do this. And, you know, the motivation was, and we're going to have more slides to sort of go into these motivations more, but the meridians are so important, and we only have a 3-year shiatsu training, and we've got to learn the classical meridians in year 1, and then we learn the Masunaga meridians in year 2, maybe, or maybe we don't. And you know, just a bit of help would be useful. And then there was also, I thought that maybe, you know, I had a lot of techniques. I think we all learned a lot of techniques, didn't we, when we were doing our immensely long trainings of like a weekend here and there with different teachers. And we learned lots of different techniques, and that doesn't happen so much now. So I thought that would be really useful. Then also there was the whole idea of lineage, that we've got a specific lineage through Pauline directly from Masunaga. And then there was like the whole thing that people have these problems with learning the Masunaga meridians, and why learn them, and and they're so complicated, and I thought it would make it easier. So it's a study guide, really.
Yeah, fantastic. Brilliant. And it's, I guess, was it a surprise to you when you actually started it, how much work it was? Did you kind of underestimate it, do you think, when you started out?
It was so I cannot tell you. Not only that, I mean, we would have 2 there were 2 days of absolute terror when we were actually booking the room and doing the filming, and there would be terrible rain that would interfere with the audio, and there'd be dogs barking, and I mean, just the audio itself was a nightmare. And then there was the lighting, and then there was the time they didn't clean the floor and our white socks got completely filled. So those were the 2 days of absolute terror. And then there were the months of crashing boredom, working side by side with my techie, and we really couldn't stand the sight of each other at a certain point, doing the editing and painstakingly drawing the meridians on slides and things. It was a big job doing it. But anyway, we did it. We did it.
Really
we got a lot better at it by the end. The final videos are a lot better than the early videos. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, look, we've got another video intro. Should we have a look at this and see what's on this, and we can check that out. Let's do that.
We also show you the Hara diagnostic areas and the back diagnostic areas for each meridian. And the U points, also called the back shoe points or the back transporting points. We show you some anatomical details, tips on how to find those points. Apart from that, we don't show many points, except the most important ones and the points forbidden in pregnancy.
Look at that. I mean, you can just get a feeling from what Carola was saying about how much work was involved. Oh my goodness.
Yes, that was another bit from the trailer. So
yeah, absolutely.
Enumerating the wonders of the video series.
Yeah. Oh, so we've got some more stuff on the meridians then.
Yes.
The importance of the meridians, yeah.
Well, the meridians are the keystone of our shiatsu practice, aren't they? I mean, yeah. I don't know if anybody saw the wonderful presentation by Michael De Agro. He was talking about the Yellow Emperor's Classic for you in your ISCO thing.
Yeah, ISCO USA. That's right. It's very popular.
I'm a big fan. I'm really a big fan.
Yeah.
I want to have long chats with him. But anyway, he was talking about the connection between heaven and earth, and how it's mentioned in the Neijing, and how they carry starlight. He had this beautiful image of how starlight really is what's flowing in the meridians because of this connection between heaven and earth. And I just love that. And there's one of the sources I had for writing my book was a marvelous woman called Vivienne Lowe. I think I give a couple of quotes from her in the book. And she gave me so many insights into the meridians. I mean, the meridians are a fascinating subject, the evolution of this sort of idea of the flows of starlight, just coming down to these rather boring established channels that we have. But anyway, Vivienne Lowe, I wrote down verbatim one of the things she said when I talked to her for my book. She says, the Shen in the Ling Shu is a bodily version of the qualities of brightness and spontaneous perception that the spirits represented, and it is said to reside in the channels or mind. I love that, brightness and spontaneous perception residing in the meridians. Yeah. I think it's beautiful. Anyway, yes. So, yes, the other thing is, of course, meridians came before points. Acupuncturists like to say that points came first, and, it's just joining the dots, like those children's drawings that you do. I used to love those, following the dots. But,
that's right. Yeah, following the dots. Join the dots. I remember them.
Remember. But it's not like that. In fact, there is a very precious artifact known as the Mianyang figurine, which was discovered in a tomb that was dated before, the tomb was built before 160 BC during the Han Dynasty. They're not sure exactly when. And this contains meridians, clearly meridians, very obviously. And I think there are drawings from it in my book. So, so that proves they came before the points.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
And then meridians are one of the things that make shiatsu different from other forms of bodywork. So obviously, the special quality of shiatsu touch is one of the things that we use. Shiatsu is so different from massage. It's so different from, well, I think maybe some people would say it's quite similar to craniosacral, but to me it's different. One of the things that makes it different is the meridians, that we can, it's a really evolved form of energy work to use part of a pathway to affect another part of that same pathway. It's like traffic on a motorway. You can actually stimulate the flow from a point on the foot, and then you'll help with the head. This is really, really useful. Fantastic use of meridians. And then, for the student, meridians are the best place to begin to feel that very specific kind of ki that we feel. I mean, I think people who practice any form of body work for any great length of time, whether you do massage or osteopathy or craniosacral or whatever, I think it's inevitable that if you do it for long enough, you're going to get a sensitivity to energy. And you'll begin to kind of get that feeling of tuning into somebody. But when you work on meridians, I think that you get a very specific feel of this kind of pathway, the feeling of the movement. It's less diffuse. It's very specific, the kind of feel that you feel in the meridians. And of course, then as we do more shiatsu, then we get to feel the other kind as well, a diffuse kind of ki. We get to start feeling all kinds of different kinds of ki, I think.
Yeah. It's all part of the intention, really, isn't it? It's all part of how we set up the mindset and how our focus is, isn't it, really? Because we have that mindset and we're looking for those facial gaps and we're looking for those meridians, it's going to give us a different experience and the receiver a different experience. That's the thing.
Absolutely. Yes. We set them up to feel their meridians, and it's kind of that wow moment, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. But I think for many students, I think feeling the meridians is a really important moment when you first begin to feel that sort of movement under your hand. You know how long it took me to feel that?
How long did it take,
8
Carola?
years. 8 years of doing shiatsu all the time, and even teaching it.
But you know what? I had a very, very significant experience with Michael Rose, actually, when I was starting. It must have been probably about 83, maybe, something like that. I was in Brighton and I was doing a beginner, they weren't beginner, they were just work shiatsu weekends. That's all we had then. That was before the schools and everything. And I remember feeling the bladder meridian in someone in class. And I remember feeling a difference and feeling a movement and everything. And I remember Michael Rose saying, well, if you felt that, it's worth you continuing doing shiatsu. And that stuck with me all that time.
And you did.
That was my first glimmer.
In fact,
I did continue. Yes. But you're absolutely right. It takes a long time. And it was only, I think, that when I had that amazing experience, when I sensed a liver obstruction in one of my clients. And that was probably about 5 years after I finished working with Pauline. So that would have been about the early 90s. So that was probably about 10 years, probably about the same, same as you. And that was when I just, by chance, I was really aligned. I touched the client and I could feel the meridian, the obstruction in the meridian all the way around. And that was just a split second. And from then that kind of opened a door. And I think that's what happens, you just get those little split-second things, and then you just want them again. So you go back to practicing because you want to get back into that feeling again, because it's such an amazing feeling.
So were you working on the liver meridian when you felt that liver obstruction, or something else?
No, I was doing the heart palpation, but I was aligned and I was opened out.
Right.
So what happened was, instead of feeling the local area of the liver, it was essentially a scan, like a meridian scan. I felt the whole meridian from that one place, and it was like, that was like a eureka moment. And then it took me about several years after that to make that a consistent experience.
Yeah.
Several years. It was just a flash, and then it would be gone for weeks and months, and then I just kept working on it to try and get it more consistent.
Yeah.
And then eventually it does become more consistent. And then I started teaching it more, structuring it and teaching it. But yeah, it's those flashes. It's that experience that really stays with you.
Of course, there are some people, some really gifted healers who become really well known, who can pick up that kind of thing anyway. They just sort of.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I don't think I had any particular talent for it. I really don't think I did. It was really hard work for me.
We can train. And I think that's actually, where the meridians are very useful, because they are flows. They're flows where movement happens in a particularly concentrated way. Would you say? Maybe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Got that right. Wait, no.
So this is all part of the thorough.
Wait a minute. Wait. We need to go back one. Because yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
So. And finally, the importance of knowing the meridians is, the buzzword these days is unity, and trying to bring a very diverse community of an extremely diverse practice together to try and form a global shiatsu community. And one of the things that brings us together is the meridians, because nearly everybody will be learning the meridians in some form, I think. And interestingly, you might say, well, maybe people who practice Namikoshi Shiatsu don't learn meridians, but if you study with a Namikoshi trained teacher in Japan, like Nicola did, Nicola was really interesting about this. She said they didn't learn meridians, but when they were just beginning to learn the techniques, the kata, the forms, the routines, they were told, put the arm out in this position and do 3 lines. And then it would be like 3 lines on the outside of the leg, 3 lines on the inside of the leg. So if you think about it, that actually is meridians, isn't it? You find your own meridians, 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. So everybody, you can try it. Just have a look, turn your arm around, lines, there they all are.
Because as we know now, the meridians are really essentially gaps between the muscles and the facial spaces, aren't they? So, they are anatomically palpable. So I guess it's inevitable if you're going to start pressing people, especially with that intention, you will.
Eventually you'll find them. Yes. Well, I guess that's how they evolved. Yeah. Although there are many ideas about that. Yeah. Okay. So here's about, one of the motivations was for people to learn more techniques, possibly, maybe, and how to do different meridians in different positions, because that's quite important. So when we started Rightcliffe in the 70s, 80s, there were a lot more techniques, because we were doing shiatsu that had come from Japan mainly, weren't we? And there was a lot more, there were osteopathic techniques and a lot of Anma and things like that. And most of that's gone by the board now, because shiatsu school curricula are so crammed. There's so much to learn in those 3 years.
Yeah.
And so the 4 positions are not always fully studied or used to their best advantage. So it's like maybe you just learn how to do a quick back rub in sitting position or something, and you'll probably do that, if you're going to go into an on-site massage or something. But the whole idea of doing a whole treatment seated, it's fabulous for a pregnant woman, for example. I've done whole shiatsus with a friend, kind of sort of half kneeling and sort of sprawling on a big cushion. You know, it's really great to know some techniques for sitting position, and obviously side is really important as well. And that's one of the glories of shiatsu, is to be able to give somebody a side lying shiatsu. But then suppose you want to do the lung, and the person can only lie on their side. That's quite common, because lung people often have quite stiff necks, you know, because their shoulders are hunched. So they need to lie on their sides, and you need to do lung. How are you going to do that? Well, that was one of the things that we did in this video. So,
brilliant.
So more emphasis on feeling ki. Well, that's always a really good thing to do. And I think that's probably more important than technique. But then the techniques are useful as well.
Definitely,
Okay.
Aha!
So produce the yellow book.
Here it is, the famous yellow book.
Yes.
So I was just looking through it. I can't believe I did this. I mean, it's incredible. I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, it's just literally like hundreds and hundreds of drawings of all the stuff that I learned from Pauline. It's incredible. And yes, amazing.
So Pauline's techniques, her routines were in the 4 positions. So each meridian, we would do a routine in the 4 positions, and she learned them directly from Masanaga at Masanaga's school, and they were recorded in Cliff's yellow book. And we just used them, didn't we, for the Shiatsu College second year? Straight away.
That was the second year syllabus right there. And it still is the second year syllabus.
And it was actually doing one of those routines that I felt ki for the first time. Just thought I'd tell you.
Oh, was it? All right, there you go. Yeah, there we are.
And of course, Pauline, I did.
Yeah, a little bit. If you don't know what the yellow book is, what it was when I went to apprentice with Pauline, I was there for 3 months, but I did her whole training program because she was teaching every level. She had 5 levels. We did 3 levels on 3 evenings, and she did level 4 and 5 during the day. So because I was there full time, I literally did all 5 levels in parallel. But I had been studying shiatsu for many years by then anyway, so I could integrate it. And what I did was I wrote down in this yellow book with drawings every single technique that she taught in those 5 levels, which basically is the foundation of the Shiatsu College second year curriculum. And it was the foundation of Carola's epic work to video the whole thing.
Well, I added lots of techniques as well. I mean, I added some of Pauline's own techniques. I mean, Pauline was big on using fingertips. And if you think that fingertips sounds like a gentle technique, you are so wrong. Because Pauline's fingertips, they could kill you, couldn't they? Yeah, so really quite strong techniques with the fingertips. Yeah. So you get versatility. You know, if you're able to find meridians in all of the 4 positions, then you're giving yourself more versatility, and you're giving your receiver more comfort, and yourself more comfort as well, because you can try different positions for different meridians. Okay, next slide. How are we doing for time? Oh, well,
we're doing fine, absolutely fine. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Right. So in these videos, we do the classical meridians, and they are explained in the introduction, and we treat them as well. You know, I don't know, some of you haven't read my book. One of the bees in my bonnet is that the classical meridians are a part of the Masanaga meridians, that he extended them, that they aren't so different. They were just sort of badly drawn on the chart, or, you know, Japanese way of approach, etc., etc. So the classical, you know, to me, classical meridian in the lung meridian in the arm is the same as the Masanaga lung meridian in the arm, no difference. But then Masanaga adds, you know, he adds the chest, he adds the leg, he adds the etc. So the 12 main pathways are not the whole story. So here's a quote from Peter Dedman and Mazin Al-Kaparji and Kevin Baker, who wrote that wonderful book on the acupuncture points. We should remember that the channel network is considerably more complex than the superficial pathways of the 12 primary channels. And there is no part of the body, no kind of tissue, no single cell that is not supplied by the channels. So, you know, essentially, if we wanted to, we could probably draw meridians everywhere, and that's what the meridian network is. It's just that the main meridians are a lot easier to find. But anyway, the Masanaga extensions, he says, I discovered them honestly through touch. They really work. They really work. And they're really, really useful. And especially if you use them with intention. So,
yeah.
And they also offer a way to focus on just 1 or 2 meridians and still give a whole body treatment. So, for example, if you diagnose lung and you're only using the classical meridians, what are you going to do? You're going to do the arm. That's it. So, you know,
True.
That'll be £90, please, or however much. I've done your lungs, that's it. But if you're using the extensions, you can do a full routine, which will be focused on the lung, focusing on the breathing, focusing on the chest, focusing on connecting, bringing the key downwards, etc., etc. You can really use the energetic functions of the meridians. Give a whole body treatment that's completely focused on lung. So,
yeah.
Next slide. Right, and then this is another bee in my bonnet in the book. I just got completely carried away with the theory of the amoeba. So I'm sorry for people who, there are possibly people here who don't know anything about Masanaga. They don't know anything about the theory of the amoeba. Very essentially, it's about how the meridians are emergent functions, emergent movements of energy that can happen even in a single-celled animal, let alone in a complex animal like the human being. And Masanaga used the very basic idea of the meridians. If an amoeba is going towards food, it will bulge itself forward to get the food. And this is the stomach channel. The stomach channel is on the front of the body because it's about moving us forward to what we want. And the back of the body is, if an amoeba is threatened by something, it's going to go zoom from the back to get away. And so this great picture is, you know, this is the kidney and bladder channel, the kidney and bladder expression of impetus, of just going for it. So according to Masanaga, the meridians are where they are because they do what they do. And I think that's a really useful concept. Makes it a lot easier.
And you've got that in the videos as well, haven't you? You've got a lot of theory, really.
Stuff about that in the videos, yes, and more as we went on. So there's really quite a lot of it by the time we get to triple heater and heart protector. It gave me the opportunity to give my husband a hug on screen.
I saw that. I thought that was very sweet.
Poor Al in his underpants with meridians drawn on him. Oh dear. My whole
there are some very funny moments in it, I have to say.
What, sorry? What did you say?
There are some very funny moments in it, some of the theory things.
I know. My whole family had to be co-opted.
I could see that. I was thinking, what role the family's going to drag into the film shoot next? You have to work with the resources that you've got, Carola.
I know, and I did. Anyway, so we've got an intro on each video, and it shows the classical and the Masanaga meridians in detail, you know, so that you can actually study them at leisure with a brief explanation of the function and the Masanaga expression. So there's that as well. We've got a theory bit on each video. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right.
And I think this one is me rabbiting on about a good position and why it's really great to do heart protector in the leg in prone. So
yeah, that's a tricky technique, and we're going to watch that. Let's watch that.
prone position is great for heart protector because people feel much more safe and protected when they're on their front. And believe it or not, this is also a great place to do the leg, rather than having the person lying face up in a rather exposed position while you work on the inside of the thigh. Whereas lying on their front, they feel easier about it. So the position is mother hand on heart protector in the hip. Make yourself comfortable so that you're not tensing this shoulder, which you might be tempted to do in order to support yourself. So that means being grounded in your hara, comfortable in your legs, and able to reach down and then come up under that adductor muscle with your thumb.
Oh, that's just a clip from just one of the hundreds of videos that Carola made, and just give you a bit of a taste of what they were like.
Yes, rubbing on.
The thing I really like about it, I'll just take this off for a minute. The thing I really like about it, Carola, is I just like the pacing. You're so calm.
Well, yes, I'm trying to think of what to say quite a lot of the time. quite often it was like about the third or fourth time I'd done it because there'd been a lawnmower or something. So yes.
There is a lot behind it, isn't there? Videoing it, there is a hell of a lot of work, especially at the editing stage. I know that from when we've done video-based courses. Oh,
yes,
dear.
yes, there was a lot of editing. Yeah.
So we've got the videos, and we've got I suppose the idea really is, I mean, I tell you, my motivation for doing this, Carola, is I just think we already saw just how few people on this webinar actually knew you even did these videos. So I just think it's just so amazing.
Happened to my advertising. It hasn't been very good.
No, it's just a very big market, and we've got quite a lot of people from all over the world. I think that's all it is.
I know. By the way, I want to say hello to the USA. That was really nice of you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I think my motivation is, apart from the fact I'm having so much fun working with you. It's just so great to be working with you. We've done so much work over the years. That's part of it. But also, it just seems to me it's just be great to get these videos out and the information out, just for the whole shiatsu vibe, really, just to get that, all that information out. Yeah.
I'm really grateful. And it's really a great opportunity for me. I mean, apart from, thanks for promoting my videos, but it's a great opportunity for me because I still feel, even though I'm retired, I'm thinking often about ki. Here I am in this beautiful place in Wales, and there's ki all around me. It's manifesting, and I think about it. I think about the seasons. I think about the air. I think about, and then I think about meridians, and I think about yin and yang, and I think as I get older and older, I think more about heaven and earth and these things. And it's going to give me an opportunity to engage with people, to talk more. In each webinar, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to share some of my insights and welcome other people's insights, just to talk more about ki and what's happening, in the ki of the world.
Yeah.
And I just want to be able to deepen my own understanding. And can we go back to the slide?
Yeah, I'll probably
what else I'm going to do? Yes, sorry, that was a short digression, enthusiastic about Wales. But
so the idea is we've got all these vast lots of video material that you've already created, but we're going to turn them into a year's experience, and we're going to obviously have webinars every month for a year, and then I have a forum which will be ongoing all the time. And so this slide really is your ideas about how you'd like to add to the experience of the videos over that year, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, an opportunity to talk more about points. I mean, it was a bit sad that I couldn't do much about points in the videos, but it would have made them so long. And yeah, exploring everything that's there and adding to it.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, fantastic.
And in the forum, I'd be really happy to engage with people who are doing the course and, you know, talking a little bit about their experiences as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole idea. Is I guess we're going to have a monthly webinar and then live like this, but obviously focused on one of the meridians. There's 12 meridians, 12 months of the year. That's why we came up with the idea of a year. It seems to fit really well. So that brings us on to our ideas so far. We're still developing it right now. We're hoping to launch in the autumn. So if you have any ideas about what you'd like to happen, then obviously get in touch with us. You can email us back. But this is the kind of idea that we've come up so far. Basically, we'd present a year with Carola. We'd be giving you lifetime access to the whole video series. So they were previously able to be bought on DVD and on Vimeo. And some of you, as we see from the polls, have already done that. We'll be making sure we look after you and give you a discount on that so that you don't pay twice for the same material. But the idea is to give you a full, like, unlimited lifetime access. So it's essentially like buying all the DVDs. And then we thought we'd do 12 monthly webinars. We do them on a Wednesday so that they're not up against the regular New Energy Work webinars that happen on a Tuesday. And they'll be at 6 o'clock. And then basically, if you can't make one, it doesn't matter anyway, because there'll be a catch-up recording that you'll have, and we'll be recording that on the online course as well. And then the other thing that Carola is really very positive about, which is the idea of having an exclusive forum, which will be open for the whole year. So as you work with the material, as things come up in your practice, then you can join in the community forum for that course. This is going to be a closed and an exclusive thing. So this is a kind of crazy idea. I've never done anything quite so long as that. I love the space side of it. I just think that's just so, it's just like I said at the beginning, it's just so against that short term, you know, bang, 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 fast thing. It's just like, oh, let's take a year. The seasons will go round. Just think it's a great idea. Nice. So that's as far as we've got so far. We've got other ideas about maybe get some schools involved so that the material can be used within schools, but that's still at the development stage now. So if you're a teacher or a head of school, we'll get in touch with you directly and see if you'd like to work with us to maybe get the videos into your trainings if you need to use them, or if you'd like to use them, I would say, in the classroom. So that's another thing we're working on. Okay, so I've got another few polls. If you wouldn't mind answering these polls, it would be really helpful for us to consolidate our ideas about how we're going to move forward and develop this for the autumn launch. So first of all, what do you think of it so far? Would you be interested in joining us? Yes, definitely. I think so. Not sure. Maybe not for you at the moment. That's fine. And also maybe you're concerned about the cost. So I'm going to run this poll and see how many of the, we've got 160 people on the webinar. So it's a pretty good sample. So if you vote for that, excuse me, I think and just see, let's just see if the polls, here we go. What have we got? Okay, very encouraging. That's really nice. Thank you very much. We've got we've got about half the people definitely saying yes, and about a third saying it depends on the cost, and around 20% saying not sure or not for them at the moment, which is absolutely fine. It might not be the thing that you're really interested in. So that's very positive. Thank you very much. This is a really interesting one from a technical point of view, because we're really excited because the platform that we're using at the moment have just developed an app, which means you'll be able to access the videos on a phone, a tablet, and of course on the computer as well. So I'd like to just find out what would be your preferred access if you could get the video content. What is your preferred access? Or maybe all of them, or maybe you don't mind. So I just wondered about that, because I know lots of people are moving towards mobile, towards phones and computers and things like that. So if you could just vote on that for us. Let's see what we've got. All right, that's surprising. I thought there'd be more tablets and more
So,
phones, but
but this is, remember, this is just the video content. So
that's right. Yeah, of course, you'll be able to
yeah.
access to also the forums and the and everything else, all the extra resources as well on the computer or on the tablet, I think, as well. So yeah, that's quite useful. I think the
all
forums,
of the above.
yeah, exactly, all of the above. We've got a lot of those. Okay, that's great. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll be able to give you access on all of them. Okay, so this is how far we've got. We've got a free launch event in September, which is on the Wednesday. It's basically the second Wednesday of every month, so you can put them through the diary if you're interested, all the way from October to September. Lifetime access to all of Carola's videos, and of course all the webinar recordings that we're going to generate. So there's going to be 12 of those, and then if you're involved, you'll have 1 year of unlimited forum access and all the webinars and resources. So that's the basic idea that we've come up with. And this is a really difficult question, and I didn't know whether to ask it, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because it's going to be a lot of work to put this together, and we need to budget it. So this is all the dates. It's just the second Wednesday of every month, all the way through. Okay, and this is the poll. Now we need to work on the budget, because obviously we've got to try and make it actually viable to do. So this is we just want to get an idea of what you think a fair price would be for the whole year with Carola, basically. I'm just going to ask you and just give us an idea, so we've got some idea of whether we can actually budget it and whether we can make it work. So what do you think?
What is a euro in dollars? Because
it's about exactly the same in dollars. It's virtually the same. Yeah, unfortunately, it's virtually the same as pounds now, thanks to Brexit. I think it's about 87p, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now look at that. We've got a lovely curve there. We've got a lovely curve, and it's looking pretty much around what we were hoping to be able to put it out for. So that's really encouraging. Thank you very, very much for that information. We'll definitely use that when it comes to pricing and budgeting for the whole project. Okay, and that's it. Now we've just got the Q&A. If there are any questions, when you get the recording link, everyone who's on this webinar and anyone who missed it will get a link automatically. As soon as this video is processed, you'll get an automatic link. On that email, I've already set up the link to take you to the launch in September, and that's when we're going to be actually making it possible to join. We'll probably have a launch discount and all that kind of thing. So we've got plenty of time, but please sign up as soon as you can, and we'll start building some kind of momentum to get this whole thing off the ground. Because if we can make it work, I just think it's just going to be amazing. I'm really excited about it. Apart from anything else, it's so much fun, Carola, to be working together after all this time, and with all the stuff we've done with college and the postgrad courses and everything. It's just I'm really enjoying it.
It's lovely. I wish I was with you in person.
Oh, look, here we go. Here's a question. We've got a question about from Pedro, which is,
I didn't see
is there anything about chakras in the work with meridians? What are your experiences? That could be something for the forum, I think. I don't know if you've got
I think that would be very interesting to talk about in the forum. Pedro, what I do talk about, particularly in the bladder and kidney videos, I do really talk a lot about the central channel. This is one of my favorite subjects, actually, because it's what I feel is the source of our starlight. It's the connection between heaven and earth. And, you know, the central channel, it's studied in yoga, of course, as the Sushumna, but it is the basis of most of the important structures in the body. So it's the center of the nervous system. It's the more or less all the endocrine glands are either side or on the central midline. There's the great blood vessels, the aorta, etc. So the skeletal system. So this central channel actually is really the center of the meridian system as well. So it's also where the chakras are located. And of course, although the Chinese system doesn't actually include the chakras, and in a way, I'm a little bit of a traditionalist. I do like to stick with the Chinese and Japanese interpretation of things without straying too far, because it's easy to stray a long way when you start getting into the sort of chakra area. But but I mean, you know, there are points on all the chakras. And what's great about them is that they have very practical applications as well, which is very Chinese, you know. So this point, it's the crown chakra where you connect to the universe, but it's also a great point for hemorrhoids. So, and I love that. So I don't, you know, the answer is I don't talk a lot about it in the videos because the videos are very specific, but I'm very happy to talk much more about this in the webinars and in the chat, in the forum.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, great. Let's see. We've got wait a minute. Here we go. Yeah, what is the anticipated experience level of the participants? Are newbies welcome? Is what Lyndon is asking. Yes.
Well, my answer to that would be, if you are a newbie student, then it'll be great for accompanying your course.
Yeah.
I'd be a little nervous of saying, you know, just do your study from the videos, really. I think you do need actual shiatsu tuition, really. Yeah. But yes, of course, it'll be ideal for somebody who's learning. That's what it was designed for, really. Yeah.
We've had fantastic feedback from the students that we've had in the Shiatsu College in Norwich who bought the DVDs or used the DVDs in the beginning. You know, they really found them useful to be able to really embed all that information. I think you mentioned a relationship between the meridians and the fascia. Be really interesting to learn more about that theory. This is Fiona.
Right. Okay, so I go into that a little bit in the triple heater video, because it's my theory is about the connective tissue and the triple heater. So we can definitely go more into depth about that. I don't do I don't specialize, you know, like Gabriella Poli specializes in working with the fascia as part of her shiatsu technique, and I'm not experienced in that kind of thing. But I definitely think that, yes, I mean, I totally agree with Cliff about the facial planes is where the meridians are situated, and I think there's a strong connection. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, excellent. Dinah, are there any other questions, or I think that we can more or less wrap that up now? Yeah, okay. Well, I just want to say a massive thank you, Carola. It's been so much fun.
A massive thank you to you and to Dinah and to all you lovely people for coming. Thank you.
Oh, look, someone would like to know
where can you buy the DVDs? I'm so sorry, I don't make the DVDs anymore. It was actually an awful lot of work, sort of packaging them up, and then the costs of sending things got sky high, and so I had to store them all as well, and then I had to store the covers, and you know, it was a whole palaver. And so now you can only get them at the moment on Vimeo, but that's a sort of a streaming program, Vimeo.
Yeah. And it is a very clunky interface. That's the other reason why we wanted to make them more easily available, because if you join the year with Carola and get the whole lifetime access to the videos, you'll be able to just stream them from your tablet or computer or phone or whatever, and it's much more user friendly. So that's the way to go. That's the idea. Oh, we've got another question from Fiona, which is, are the DVDs the same ones that came with the books?
No.
They're not. No.
That's a very basic, you know, shiatsu routine, how to do shiatsu sort of thing. This is what doing shiatsu looks like. So no, that infinitely more in depth and quite long. They need a bit of time to watch them. Yeah.
We will, yeah. I guess what we would do on the webinars, I think would be a really good idea to maybe just take a few clips out just to give people a feed into the content, you know, but we can do that when we get okay. If there are no more questions, every time I say is there no more questions, is it possible to get the yellow book anywhere? I love that. There is only one yellow book, Nicole. Only one. I have the original copy.
We could send Nicole the photocopy of the routines in the yellow book.
I could do, but I'm not going to.
Okay, fine.
It's sacred. Anyway, we must go. Thank you so much. I think there are no more questions. We can wrap everything up. And I just want to say thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in. We had well over 150 people. That's a record for New Energy Work. Just shows you the level of interest, Carol, that we've got. We'll see you at the launch, and really sign up as soon as you can for that. We'll be working out the pricing. We're going to make it as affordable as we can, and we're always going to do discounts on the launch and discounts for people who've already bought the DVDs. We're working all that out to make it really as open and fair and as accessible as possible, because we really want to get this material out there. So we'll do it in the best way that we can. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Dinah, for all your work on the chat. You've really done a great job there. And hopefully we will see you, if we don't see you on another New Energy Work event before then, we'll see you in September, when amazingly, it'll be here before we know it. We'll have hopefully everything organized and ready to launch in October. Okay, goodbye everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in.